Yeah, so it was the Billboard. It was the Billboard 200.
Okay.
To answer.
I don't know anything about charts, so I don't know if that's like the thing that everyone wants, or if that's just like.
I think it's for your album. It is like if it's for a song, then that's like the Hot 100. Yeah.
I saw a screenshot. Was that real that he went #1, or is that?
Yeah, I mean, there was a screenshot that he passed. I think
he did go #1, but then like the Encanto soundtrack came in and I think knocked it from. So there was a screenshot that was like, we got to get this back up to #1. So next time, there's like some Disney moms are listening to the Encanto soundtrack, we got to get some Tonkas in there. Like that's sometimes
that could be his direction in the future. Who knows? He's always evolving.
Lin-Manuel Miranda type music.
God, why would you say that?
Living off borrowed time, the clock ticks faster. Living off borrowed time, the clock ticks faster. Living off borrowed time. The clock tick faster. Living off borrowed time. The clock tick faster. Living off borrowed time, 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 the clock tick faster.
That's like combining my favorite and my least favorite thing.
That would be
Lin-Manuel Miranda is not Twizzy.
Yeah. It's not Twizzy till he makes it Twizzy.
Exactly. La Hamilton.
Fucking off-brand Hamilton. How many X with the perk references can we get into Hamilton?
Bro,
Can you imagine? Like, you have all these middle-aged people paying like thousands of dollars to see like this terrible show, but instead it's just like a Yeat concert with like Septembers in the background, like fucking ads and shit. Yeat comes out in like a colonial outfit and is like doing. Starts performing like sorry about that,
bro.
I could see him in one of those wigs. Honestly, I could see it.
In the George Washington wig. That would be. Yeah.
That's the next step from the turban.
Right.
Right. The turbans are now gonna, they're gonna be reselling for hundreds of dollars. And then we're gonna get the colonial period wigs. Are gonna be the newest fashion trend. Hypebeast is gonna write about them. The next Grammy performance is gonna be Yeat's gonna open, and
complete renaissance of rap. That's what.
That's what it'll be. Can you imagine Yeat coming out at the Grammys and it's like a steady lineup of the most like mid music you've ever heard, and then it's just coming in off the top rope with an intro from Cole Bennett, and it's just like, and now for the next song, now for the next performer we have Le Crank.
They're not ready. No.
Definitely not ready. They might be more ready than RYM is, but they're not ready for it.
Yeah, I'm disappointed looking at this rating.
Fucking horseshit.
But honestly, I was going to change my rating to 4.0 from 4.5 after listening to it a few more times. It is an amazing album, but I honestly think Up To Me is a little bit better.
See?
That's a good starting point. We'll get into it.
All right.
That's a good. That's a good point. Just
There's a lot of ratings of his I haven't updated, like 4L. I need to change that to a 4.0 from 4.5 and change up to me to 4.5.
You're hurting Ben's soul.
I am.
You're hurting Ben's soul. Before we get into who's hurting whose soul, this is You're Living Off Borrowed Time for the week. I'm Caleb, Optimal Audio. If we're talking about Yeat, you definitely know who I am, and you know who Created by Rejection, aka Ben, is.
Hello.
Definitely check him out. Glad to have you on again. And for this episode, we also have Seth on, aka Jayward.
Hello.
Very, very happy to have another fellow Yeat enthusiast on here. He was there for a long time. And, Seth, do you want to kind of give your background with Yeat real quick, heading into Up to Me?
Sure. So initially, I got to shout out Rezzy for putting me on in the first place. From his SoundCloud account, I got him because he was just reposting and liking every single one of his songs. And that was early 2021, I think, like February. Around the same time like Rolly Day 2 came out and all that. So it was before his first albums came out. So even back then, I could tell he was going to be a force in the rap industry just because of how different he was. And he's just like a conglomeration of so many different styles of Young Thug. And, I'm not even going to get to all the name dropping, but he's just a conglomeration of so many popular styles and all the best parts of it. And his ad-libs are just next level. And just the consistency is crazy. Hundreds of songs, almost no misses. He's just definitely my favorite rapper at this point. He's been my favorite rapper for the past year for sure, and cannot wait to see his evolution. And that's, you guys covered pretty much everything else in the last episode, so I think that about covers it. He's just an amazing artist.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly second that. Yeah, we did. I think we mentioned. I think I mentioned seeing your comment on that Matt's, aka Rezzy's, page about how you found a new favorite rapper or whatever way back when. Yeah, I remember seeing that because I had to listen to. I think I had listened to that like a month or two prior or something like that. Around that time period. So. Yeah, and up until 2 Alive, your favorite was it Up to Me? Was it 4L? What was it? If you had one, because
Up to Me is probably my most listened to and my most favorite. But honestly, it's a close running. Yeah. I could honestly give them almost all of them a 4.5, but Up to Me is just a little bit better. So that one just edges them out just a little bit, just from the consistency point.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. And that's, of course, if you listen to the last episode, you definitely knew that, because I wouldn't shut up. So I'm not going to rehash the previous albums, because no one needs to hear me talk more. But heading into this album, 2 Alive, I know, Ben, you and I had talked about this in the last previous pod about just where do we think the evolution would go and how big he could be. Didn't spend a lot of time on it, but coming into this album, as soon as the Lyrical Lemonade video dropped, you kind of knew this was different. Just like when Get Busy dropped, you knew that album was different than the ones before it.
I think the difference between what Get Busy did and what the Lyrical Lemonade Still Countin' did was that when Get Busy dropped, everyone was like, oh, who is this? Who is this guy? What's the name of the artist of this guy? And now, when Still Countin' came out, everyone was like, this is the new Yeat song. So I feel like he's become more, like you can say his name now, and people aren't going to go wait, hold on, who?
Yeah, guy's name is Yeat, what the hell?
It's now the new Yeat song, the new Yeat album. It's no longer this new album by this guy, or this song that I heard by I don't know who. Right. This is his big break. So I honestly had no idea about that when we recorded it. I don't think there was any word of Cole Bennett coming on, or
there was a Cole Bennett tweet that was Yeat is the artist of the year or something.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, but I didn't know that they were collabing. So that's still a big deal. I don't know if Lyrical Lemonade still has the cachet that it did a few years ago, but it's still a pretty fucking deal. Like
it has enough people listening. There's enough people listening to make it go big. It doesn't have the same sort of,
Its
what it had
subscriber,
before.
its subscriber base is already so big. No matter what they post, it's going to go big.
Yeah. So someone in, because I don't know, I absentmindedly skim YouTube comments sometimes, but there was a comment that was like, I wish like Uno and Fawny exploded when they did their Lyrical Lemonade videos or whatever like this. And I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Like, just time and place, and what blows up versus what doesn't. I mean,
yeah.
You wonder if Uno and Fawny came out a few years later and they were in the TikTok era. Because, I mean, now they both had songs get popularity on TikTok, but it's kind of like retroactively songs. I don't think that anyone is going to be like, oh yeah, the next Uno album is going to be a smash hit. It'll have like a song or two that'll get like traction because of TikTok. Especially the most recent album, which had like it was essentially like a just all rage beats. But it's not like the same. It's not the same. There wasn't that like level of excitement that like Uno and Fawny were going to be like important rappers for the next decade, like that there was like 4 years ago, probably, or 5 years ago. But
no.
I might just be talking on my ass.
No, I mean you're right. You're right. It's just I don't know. I don't know if it has anything to do with like, pardon the pun, but like rage beats being all the rage. Like, is that what actually is the reason Yeat is like a thing? Is because people are digging the rage beats? Is it because like he's got the flow?
I think it's just a combination of several things.
It's a combination, but like that's what I'm saying. It's like because Uno and Fawny didn't have those style of beats, would they have been big? Is that the big draw? I guess.
I think it's just, honestly, I just think Yeat, I love Uno and Fawny, but I think Yeat's just better. Like
I agree. No, I agree.
Yeah.
And then the way that his work ethic he put in this past year, and he really, after he got those cosigns, a lot of times rappers, they just don't release that much music. He just went all in. I think that had a lot to do with it. He just threw everything out there and just saw what stuck. And he got lucky in a way. And it was just that, and being that talented and just having that level of exposure and just the amount of songs he released all contributed to his rise.
Yeah, I was talking to Caleb about this. It was like he posted something that was like, this like next stuff that I got going on is like 10 times, 1,000 times better than like my current album. I'm like, you hadn't even dropped Two Alive at the time, and he was already saying like his next stuff was even better. That's like that kind of like work ethic and grind, if you will, is like that's what's keeping him in like the game. That's why people are so interested. He's never stopping. He's never looking back. He's always moving forward.
And if you listen to like his music from like a year ago compared to today, and then you listen to Fawny or Uno's music from 3 years ago compared to today, he's already evolved so much more than they have. No shade on them at all, but he's just that much more talented.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, according to Twitter, told me that all his songs sound the same, so I'm not sure that I'm allowed.
Oh my God.
I'm not sure that I'm allowed to believe that he could evolve as an artist. I'm not sure. I heard he sounds like a Young Thug clone. I heard all his beats are the same. Every song sounds the same. So.
Oh, I didn't know Twitter said that. Never mind. I'll take it.
Right. Because Twitter told me recently that pedophilia is bad. Like when I watch consuming the movies I watch, and bad people are bad on screen. And now they're telling me how I should listen to my music. So now I probably should rethink my life choices.
Yep. Rethink everything.
Gosh, yeah. I guess I should just go back to listening to 2016 Young Thug, and that's it. That's all I can listen to. But yeah, I think in the lead up to this, like I knew it would be big, but I was kind of stunned how big that it is. I guess in 2022, you still can't underestimate someone being on a major and like getting major playlist placements and things like that. For what it's worth, it's not everything, and he's been independent for most of his career. But you can't underestimate that push. And it might just, I know it's probably just me because of how my algorithm on like social media sites is, but there was just always Yeat content in like my feeds for anything, whether it's, you know, a TikTok or less so on something like Twitter or whatever, but I see it in the like recommendeds from people like you don't follow or whatever. So I just the social media presence, and we talked about how like him being in on the joke and all that, like, you know, creating his own language essentially, is something definitely like an attraction to that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Everyone loves the like so-called language that he's creating. People are just using it. It's sticking. I love that.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely sticking.
It's definitely sticking.
It's sticking so much that I'm seeing people being like, "The hell is this?" Like sort of thing. So,
Oh yeah, me and my coworkers, we have like a joke where we'll just come up behind each other and whisper each other's ears, "La crank," like real seductively. It's hilarious. Yeah.
gosh, I wish I had people I worked with that I could say. But that's actually incredible. Did you guys say that it's Smooktober when he dropped the album?
Yes.
Yes.
Guys, I think it's Smooktober.
Yes.
Oh God.
He knows it's like I mean it is a meme, like the language is hilarious, like
It's great.
yeah, but it's also it translates so well to like how he just raps and how he pronounces his enunciations.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
Also, another thing I think people discount is he didn't really come out from nowhere. He was involved with Slay World for a long time, and I also read, I don't know if it's true or not, that Wieland originally was the one who gave him his vocal presets and kind of gave him the sauce.
Yeah,
And Wieland's got connections for show. You know, he's working with Mike Dean, so it's not like, you know, you just came out from nowhere for sure.
No, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. He definitely he rose from relative obscurity as it pertains to like even out of the Slay World camp like a year and a half ago, he was like 4th on the popularity list.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, like Can had a little more momentum. Obviously, Summers and Autumn had more momentum. I thought that if there was going to be an artist that went to his level, it was going to be Autumn. Like I didn't think
I did too.
Question.
I thought
especially with how Nina and Still the Same were doing, I was like, oh yeah, this is like, I mean, he's basically like a pop songwriter with those type of songs. And Autumn has been blowing up. You know, he's a big, big relative, but you know, he's a mainstream artist adjacent at this point. But it's just a different level.
It's a shame they never collab anymore.
No, because they're just annoying. I don't know.
I know, just petty bullshit.
Autumn's like mad annoying about that shit, and like I don't know.
Is it only Autumn that has?
No,
like,
I mean
I think. I thought I heard that like Can and Summers were all good with him, but I knew Autumn had some beef or something.
Oh yeah, Summers said in the Art Generation Music interview from like a few months back that they're like he's so proud of him and like they're cool as like they've never like not been cool.
Yeah, because like and then like Isaiah shouted out it.
Yeah, that was
I think like a month ago or something. That was pretty cool.
And I love how he had a feature on Isaiah's album before or EP before that. And it was like a minute-long song. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It was on War, right?
That was War. That was like the first time where I think people were like, hey, like maybe this could be like it was like his first real relative big sort of feature, I think. Yeah.
I mean, not that anybody except us listened to that tape in 2020.
But if you knew anything about, you knew anything about Slay, if you knew anything about Slay World, you knew at least about War, I think, coming out.
Oh, sure.
So that was when everyone, I think, started. Not everyone, but you know what I mean. That was like the first.
Yeah, that was pre Money Fetish and all that stuff. So once that stuff came out, then it was like, okay, like, you know, there's something, and you know, we hashed that out on the previous episode. I don't want to get down too bogged down because I do want to talk about the album. Since this, you know, we're doing bite-sized episodes with these album, you know, initial reactions. So, album's been out for a couple days. I don't know when this will get posted, but probably within the next few weeks. But it's been out for a few days. You guys we've all listened to it multiple times, I'm sure. Any initial reactions from either one of you? Like, what was your overall take? I have kind of a question I'm going to throw at both of you. rank the Yeat album openers, because I think his album openers are his most consistently like top shelf.
We're just doing four.
Just the big four.
Main four.
Yeah, if you had to rank them, because it's pretty difficult.
Let's see. I had a big list, so no.
Let's see.
Well, do either of you have a favorite of the four? I'll say that you can think of off the top of your head, whether it's Tesla's, Always Alive.
Honestly, I think Poppin' might be my favorite out of the four, like just from initial listens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's definitely
closely followed by I really love Tesla's and Rovers too. Like that's a legendary song.
So that song is so good.
To me, Tesla's and Rovers and Come On are basically tied. Come On is my favorite song off of Up to Me, if that is any surprise. I don't know. That might be a surprise to people, but both of them are maybe almost tied. I'd probably put Come On a little higher. It's just such a hype song. But Tesla's and Rovers, insane beat. And then It's Always Alive.
Mm-hmm.
It's also very, very close behind.
Yeah.
I'd probably put Poppin' a little bit more back.
Yeah, Always Alive would probably be my fourth, but still an amazing song. And then Come On. Honestly, Come On, and I have to agree, Tesla's and Rovers and Come On are about tied. And that could change, I've just been listening to Poppin' a whole lot recently.
Mm-hmm.
It really gets me hype.
Yeah. It's like the perfect way to start.
Great intro.
The first line, like "I need my drugs, I need my love," is like just a hell of a way to start your album. Like, good mission statement type beat.
Just no breather at all, just immediately.
Exactly. Drops it right in, and then it cuts right out to it. Yeah. There's no intro or outro, really.
It reminded me of like there's that just that line. I need my drugs, I need my love. It reminded me something of like a Juice WRLD lyric that I would hear.
Mm-hmm.
It rings very similar, like a Juice WRLD rap track.
Yeah.
So I find that kind of interesting.
Benji delivered, of course.
Gosh, you could argue the two best beats on the record are like you, and I'd probably agree.
He is so talented, not only at producing but also at rapping too.
Yes.
Yeah. If anyone deserves just more credits on big things, please, Benji Cole. Like, gosh, do you guys know why he's icy? No,
haven't figured it out yet. We're all still asking.
I would like to figure it out. Also, just the placement of his tag is so perfect on both sides, both Poppin' and Taliban, which we'll get into. But what are your guys' favorite songs off this?
I go first. I had just a rough top 10, so
sure.
Mine would probably be Poppin', Real Six, Rollin', Rax, Double, Taliban. Honestly, I don't know if this is controversial or not. Call Me is one of my favorites by far. I love that song so much. The way, whenever he does the more poppy songs, he does it so well.
Yeah.
Smooktober, of course. Still Counting, of course. I think I left one off. On the Line. I love On the Line too. That's probably like my rough top 10, but that could change at any time.
On the line is fucking sick.
Yeah. And honestly, I think all those songs except for Rax Got Me, that's the only one with a feature that's in the top 10. Yeah.
Yeah, out of all of them, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Ben, do you have a favorite or a couple favorites or?
I would say like top 5 right now would probably be honestly, there's a whole middle section which is like my 1 through 4.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Never Again would be the 5th, and then just jump through Taliban with Don't Lie, Rollin' in between. Yeah. All 4 of those. I don't know if it's because like when I listened to it, I like the first time I must have like paid super close attention or something, and so those tracks just stuck in my head immediately. But there's something about those 4 tracks: Jump, Rollin', Don't Lie, Taliban. Just those are my favorites. That was his best work, in my opinion.
Yeah, no. that all good choices. That middle run is great.
Yeah.
There's not a single one that I'm like, oh, I wouldn't agree. But I guess on album thoughts for each of you, because I'm seeing some, as an artist gets bigger, there's going to be a lot more people that are introduced to their music, and in this case, I've seen some excitement, but what I've also seen is a lot of like lukewarm or reactions, or Yeat is ass, or blah blah blah, ranging from bad to lukewarm reactions. So I'm interested in, because to me, honestly, it feels like there are songs on here that I would show someone as like their first Yeat song, and there are songs that I wouldn't. So I think it does a really good job of walking the line between acquiring new audience and keeping in tune with what your fans want and what the people have come to expect from you already.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually surprised that people are finding like Poppin' to be like the song to show. Like everyone's like, this is like the song. And when you talk about like songs to show like people who have never gotten into Yeat, it never would have occurred to me that out of all, I know the beat is like nice, but like Poppin' is such like a very laid back song. I was like, oh, this is for like the Yeat fans who like go back, because I was like, this is a little more of like a. It's not as poppy as I thought, as I feel like everyone's trying to make it out to be. But it's good. It's really good. I don't know if that would be the song.
I don't think any song on here has the instantly like memeable potential of like a Get Busy or a Sorry About That or anything like, where it's like pop songwriting like genius with an obvious like, oh, this is why type thing. So I kind of agree with you on that. When you said on the first day that Double was going to be that song, I agree with you.
I thought Double was going to be like the big song when I first listened to it.
Because the snippet had been around and everybody loved the snippet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's right.
Like,
that was around for a while, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that it just would make sense that was going to be big. I could see Still Counting being the one that I
Still Counting is definitely the one for most people, I feel like.
Yeah, I could see it. But in terms of quality and the body of work, like, do you guys, I'm not asking you to rank all the Yeat records, but like, were you disappointed by this, live with the expectations, et cetera, et cetera? Like, how are you, are you like me and you get annoyed at some of the reactions you see online? Do we avoid all the Cardi takes? Like, what do we do?
Oh man, I get annoyed at people saying that every song sounds the same, for sure. Like, that's ridiculous. There's actually good variety on this, I think, in my opinion. Like, you have the more ragey type songs, you have his poppier songs, you have kind of the slower change of pace songs, kind of like Narcotics is like really slow and druggy feeling. Mm-hmm. And there's just a lot of variety on here. I don't get why everybody's saying that every song sounds the same, for sure. And I definitely think it delivered to my expectations. I don't think it's a drop off in quality whatsoever. It's very hype. I listen to this album every day in the gym, like literally. As it came out.
The gym is where this album thrives.
For real, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. No question. Ben, anything?
Yeah.
I'm sure you agree, but
I definitely agree. I mean, it never. Obviously, I like this one more than Up to Me, actually. So I found it to be an even bigger step up. I was trying to create just like a big like ranking of all the songs because I was bored one night, and like almost every song was in the top 50 for me from this album. So it's like it's super consistent. The fact that people are like, you can't tell the songs apart. I don't know if that really has something to do with like us who have listened to this kind of music just over and over again, where we can tell that but like, I don't get the sort of notes that people say where they're like,
I think a big problem is people just put it on and listen to it very half-assed, and he has if you don't pay attention to his flows, they do kind of all just kind of blend together. But if you don't pay attention, they all blend together. But if you do, he switches it up all the time. Like it's always fresh. It's always just like kind of a word salad almost, which is what probably throws some people off and makes it seem like he is kind of saying the same things over and over again and reusing the same flows. But you have to. He's definitely an artist that requires more attention than just Gunna or Young Thug. Some of Young Thug's popular songs, at least.
I think the way he does his vocal inflections is and the melodies that he can bring out. I mean, that alone should kind of disqualify any sort of like sounding the same. I mean, there's just ups and downs, and he's singing his heart out on some of these tracks.
He goes from the low register to the high register like all the time. Like he's never staying in the same vocal range.
Like on Just Better, where he's like the I'm bipolar vibes, like the I'm bipolar lyric.
Yeah.
Where he's like going up and down and up and down. Like
he mastered his voice somehow. Like it's ridiculous how he can just do that at will.
That's that Thug influence for sure.
Yeah. And that's why I don't get why people say he's more of a Cardi clone than Thug. Like, I see the Young Thug influence so much more. And, then it's not even he's a clone. He definitely is in his own lane for sure.
Yeah. It kind of frustrates me that we're years removed from the emergence of Gunna and Lil Baby, and we're still doing the X is a clone of X artist debate, or talking point. It's like, guys... Like, what are we doing? And to your point, Ben, about are we just seasoned listeners? That's why we're not noticing that maybe everything sounds the same. I think it's just a result of passive listening. Like
I could agree with that.
And even if you're passive listening, as an example, we talked about how Poppin' has no outro, no transition. You're just you're into Outside. Well, Outside sounds way different. It's like mid-tempo. Young Thug, for my opinion, gives one of his best features in years. Has like a very lucid, calm, collected kind of verse, and then you're into Real Six, which is kind of like a low, menacing type song, and then Never Again, you're back on like a prototypical rage beat. Damn trad you made that type vibe. So
I think it's interesting that you claim that Thug had one of his best verses, because I know people that were just so disappointed by it. I think everyone wanted that him to bring the energy, and they wanted a really intense, crazy Thug.
They wanted the Harambe Thug on there.
People wanted the Harambe Thug, that's right. But I mean, I don't know. I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was a world beater. I can agree with people who say it felt too safe. But I mean, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I mean, it was the type of song,
it was the song he was on.
It was in
he's
the.
He's not gonna go crazy on a beat like Outside. Yeah,
it was in the pocket of the song, so I thought it made perfect sense. I thought that Gunna doing a Yeat impression was very funny.
He killed it though. That was a great feature.
Yeah, it was better than most of his most recent albums, though.
Yep.
That's definitely something that I was happy to hear. And then I think my overall thoughts are, it was almost better than what I thought it was going to be. And that's when the leak came out and I heard it once, I'm like, okay, we're good. We're safe.
Yeah.
You hear the album, on the album release date, and I'm so happy that this album exists and we're talking about it and we're all enjoying it. And then you just see the massive deluge of downvotes on the site, and in the real world is not feeling it as much as you are. But that shouldn't mean anything. But it's just kind of a bummer, because you want other people to like what you like. And so it's kind of like, you introduce this wholly unique artist to a large mass of people. They're not going to really get what makes this artist unique. And so, it's tough to L plus ratio your way out of that conversation. You can't really do that. But yeah, there, and with the evolution topic, because I know I posed the question to you, you guys tell me if I'm wrong. I don't think he's made a song like Rollin' before.
No, that's his most melodic he's ever gone, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite off of the album.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I knew of it because I had heard the little snippet with like the middle part with the burr, all that stuff. But that hook is like just.
If there was a song that people said that he's a Thug clone, this is the one I could see for. This is the only one really I could see for. The way he does his voice is very Thug-like, and obviously he's influenced by it, so it's not any sort of it's not bad. I just I can agree. I could agree with people if I only heard that song.
Yeah, I think the way that it does that hook, I could see it. I think the second verse is so sick.
There's great lines on that song.
Just the way it breaks down, and obviously like that,
Every time I still didn't give a shit, I still went
number one.
Yeah.
So my pockets are full of money. They're fucking schmunked or whatever. What do you?
He's talking about like how his fans are like a cult.
Yeah, it's called. Yeah, they read my Bible. Like that's
my
what I'm
Bible.
saying.
Yeah.
That's a good line. Like even in the most traditional rap sense, that's a good line.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand people, but yeah, that's.
He's always had some good one-liners for sure. Very good quotables.
I feel like "Jump" is a song that could be a hit.
"Jump" is my personal favorite off the album. Yeah,
just because like the hook is so easy, like to do, to just like.
Yeah. Almost positive that's a Starboy Rob beat from what I remember, and it's the little synth line that's going out through it is so good. People were calling it the jump out the house of the album.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
Jump.
Yeah,
jump.
That's exactly what it reminded me of too. Yep.
Yeah.
It is a Starboy Rob beat, just too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And
I thought September's Rich's verse was very good.
Yes.
People hate him. People hate him.
He is pretty corny, but some of his verses are alright.
I really like that verse. I really like his.
That's a really good song.
Yeah.
Did he say richer than your granny or something? What do you say? He said something about
No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head, but yeah. I think one of my underrated songs is "Can't Die."
Can't Die. Oh,
I think his flow on that is absolute butter, and like I don't really see people talking about it that much.
The backing vocals on this one that are just throughout. They're like,
Yep.
That's one of his more like melodic songs. I love that one.
Yeah, love those. And then when he was like, "Who's the first one that's rocking the turb?"
The turb.
Yes.
It's like,
Come on.
I'm pretty sure some people before you were rocking turb.
Yeah.
That's a good, really underrated song though. It kind of dovetails with "Call Me" pretty well.
That's like the first like true love song that I've heard from him, which was really, I don't know, maybe I'm not thinking of another song, but like that's the first one I could think of where it was like oh, this is like cute and sad and like heartfelt.
Yeah.
I liked that.
My friend sent that song to like his girlfriend, and then she was like, "Oh, this is nice," but then
wait, which song are y'all talking about?
But then I think
Call Me.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I love Call Me.
She was like, "Yeah, this is nice," but then I think she looked up the lyrics, and I don't know if she thought it was as nice, but yeah, it's fine.
It's kind of a demanding song, but it's in the right place.
Its heart's in the right place.
Yeah.
It's the intent was there.
I mean, I've listened to it with my girl a few times. She loves that song. So there's two different opinions. There we go.
It should have been me. Why do you guys think there's only one Filthy beat on here? I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, but he came through. He delivered.
He did.
For sure. And I love his flow and his how he went a little quieter on that song. It matches the beat perfectly. It's kind of a little bit more subdued.
See, he said something about like my girl loves me. I bought her a Birkin. I was like, nice. Good for you, Yeat. But yeah, that's like one of the grimier songs on here. I feel like.
Yeah.
It kind of gave me a it kind of gave me a. I'm now blanking on the song that it reminded me of. Unfortunately,
it's very reminiscent of the Up to Me grimy style that was on stuff like Rockstar.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Turban,
like. Yeah, I was
those
gonna
kind
say.
of songs.
I was gonna say like "Hey" or something, but yeah.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Those kind of like more intense. Someone said this was a Halloween beat, which it definitely is.
No, it's Smooktober. So
Smooktober beat.
Smooktober. So when October comes, one of my favorites on here, and it was destined to be my favorite since I heard the snippet and couldn't stop playing it, even when there was like an off-brand rapper on half the song, so I only listened to half the song. Was Geek Eye, which I always think of as Geeker because the snippet was like called Geeker.
Yeah, that's
an insane hook.
That was around for quite a while. I feel like that was the one that everyone thought Uzi was going to be on. I'm pretty sure. Because
the SoundCloud leak of it just had a picture of Uzi,
and then Yeat was like, "No, it's not going to have him on.
Not going to have Uzi on it." Yeah, but I mean, I just fucking love the little like background vocal, like the real geeker, like in the background, and if you listen to that song once, you're like, "Oh yeah, this hook's really good." Like,
Kid Carson's verse, I'm not even a big fan of his, but I thought he came through on his verse.
And everyone hates it.
Because it's so atypical for Ken.
And then the mixing. I love the song, but I can't enjoy the mixing. Whatever. Apparently he recorded it on his iPad. And Ken notoriously loves his iPad.
Yes, I've seen
He's always recording stuff with it. So I mean, not surprising if he did record it, because it does sound off. There's no question about it. It's
the very first listen, I was like, but then from like listen 3 onwards, I'm like, this is great. So it didn't necessarily like bomb for me. I really like his verse. I was kind of surprised to see he was featured on this, but good for Ken. Good verse, great fucking song. What was I was thinking of another part in that song that was so funny to me, but it's escaping me right now. But yeah, that's a great one. I mean, and Taliban's one of my favorites. That beat is like that song is one that I would show people personally. I don't know if you guys will listen.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a pretty like that's probably like the. Continue. It's a typical Yeat song, but it's not. There's not that much like going on with his vocal performance, in the sense that like it's very even. It's pretty even keeled, and I think the hook is pretty sticky. I mean, there's not a lot to it, and like the beat and the melody are so great that I don't know. I feel like
the fact that it's like the only pure like plug type sound, Benji delivers, of course, but like it's not like it doesn't have that like, maybe I don't know what people like in Yeat, and I just like what I like, and so that's why I'm like struggling to like figure out.
No,
like,
maybe
what's
you're
a good
right.
song to show, because like I'm like, oh, this is one of like the more slower, more pluggier type tracks, and so it feels more of like a deeper cut, if you will. Mm-hmm. Where it's like something I would think like something like Still Counting, I would say, is probably the closest. Outside is a pretty standard beat.
Yeah, just because it's a Young Thug feature on it too.
Also, yeah.
You could probably show Rax Got Me. Rax Got Me is a pretty
Rax Call Me, Rax Got Me and Call Me would probably be like my two I would show people. Just
Call Me would be another
introduce
good one.
Them,
That On the Line hook is so good.
Oh,
yeah.
That was
That one is.
That was called like Big Dog before. I'm pretty sure that was what everyone referred it to through the leak. That was a great one.
Right. Do you guys think that the rumored deluxe version will A, come out soon, and B, like deliver? Like, what kind of songs think will be on it? Do you think it'll be like a how do you think that's gonna play out? I imagine it'll drop it because there's a market for it.
I mean, I hope it. I don't know. I just hope it has a couple more high-profile features on it. Honestly,
Uzi is apparently rumored to be on it.
Yeah, he said he'd be on it.
So that's the only confirmed one in a sense, I think.
Do you think it's going to be like 20 new songs?
I think
knowing Yeat, it has the potential to be, but
the way he's been dropping, like, it's never just a little. I mean, we could get like an EP style deluxe, but like, I don't know. He's got the snippets are out there with. There's over 50 or so, so there's plenty of tracks to just drop. And see, he's already trying to move forward from this era, so he kind of wants to just throw everything he's got and then move on.
Yeah,
I'd say it'll be at least 10 plus.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to object to 15 new Yeat songs or whatever the number might be. I would like a Summers feature. That would be kind of cool because he was on that Summers track a few months back. So
I was a little bit disappointed in the Young KO song. I mean, it's a good song, but it's not as good as I thought it would be.
I think that's the weakest song on the album. However, it might have the funniest line on the album. If you guys know what I'm referring to. The most sex positive line on the album.
I love that line because I was like, at first I was like, oh
yeah,
no, what did this?
Hard for sure.
What did he just say?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. Okay.
I had to rewind that one. Yeah.
No, I was genuinely concerned that we were getting like some transphobic shit, but then we were good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just very surprising to hear him say that. I was like, oh.
It's all good. Yeah, the Narcotics, that was definitely the most polarizing track, I would say. I think people just didn't vibe with the feature as much. Maybe that came from the disappointment of, Yeat, the song.
Especially with the contrast between the Yeat feature on Young KO's album.
Yep, exactly. The Yeat song is definitely, I mean, for me personally, if I were to put it up in like my top Yeat songs, it'd probably be like top 5.
Yeah, it's in my top 10 for sure. That's a great song.
That's a great song, yeah. I was kind of surprised to see some that were like, oh, it's good, but it's like, it's like, I don't know.
It's so much slower and laid back than everything else, really.
Yeah.
So I think when people heard Yeat the song, everyone was like, oh, this Yeat KO new collab is going to be hype. It's going to be so intense. And it was very like slow and, just vibing along with the beat. So.
Yeah, it definitely comes in because it comes in after Taliban and before Call Me. Like, I think if it was, I rarely say this about Yeat projects. I think if it was sequenced somewhere else, it would have been received better. Just because you're kind of in a interesting like pocket because the like On the Line to Taliban run like flows so nicely, and I feel like you could have put Narcotics maybe further back, like post.
I feel like he should put Narcotics and Call Me as like the closers, pretty much,
I don't like Still Counting as the closer, to be honest.
Yeah, it's too high to be the closer.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially because it's like the big one and the one that everyone heard first. In a sense, it's like the one that got everything popping. I don't know. I feel like it should have been closer to the front.
I think, I think you could put Call Me as the closer. I might even put Geek Eye as the closer, or maybe like a.
I don't know, because then you're kind of ending with the Ken feature. You kind of want to end with like
Smooktober. I mean,
Smooktober.
Not a bad closer. Usually the closers are. I mean, I'm using quote, but usually it's more of like a emotional type vibe. Obviously
Lying for Fun.
One of my favorite Yeat songs by far. Lying for Fun.
I mean, those that heard the first episode, they don't need me to talk about that song again. But
Narcotics kind of actually felt like, to me, like stayed the same on Up to Me, where it kind of was like it was very different than the rest of the previous 4 songs, and it was way more of like a breather, like slower.
Like, no offense to Narcotics, but we couldn't put All Day right there, and we could just move Narcotics to the deluxe. Like, we couldn't just slide. Yeah. Like, if All Day isn't on the deluxe, I might.
You're big pushing for All Day. It's already out there. It's already
It is out there, but it's not like a. I mean, the full song is out there, but it's not like a real song. Like he dropped it and pulled it.
I know.
Is that real? If a tree fell in the forest, like
but it's up on Wave. It's up on Waveguide, so
I know, and I'm big
on Spotify though.
It's not on Spotify, but like then again, like Broly Day isn't on Spotify, so I don't know. I want those like 10-second snippets that he's been dropping. Those to me are way more.
We can get 19 10-second
Yeah, we could.
And then we can get all day.
I'm just giving you shit.
I can't believe you just wouldn't want that amazing song on a project.
I do want it. I just already have it, to be honest.
That's fair. That's fair. How do you guys think? I'm contractually obligated to ask this question as we're winding down here. How do you guys think that Yeat is going to progress forward? Because, like, I mean, I think we all see stylistic shifts on this in certain ways and evolution in certain ways. How do you think he'll shift? When he drops again in 4 months, and B, how do you see the conversation either evolving or changing, or what do you think the conversation around Yeat is going to be for the remainder of the year?
I mean, I still think we're not even close in terms of like the height of where it can go, especially this year. I'm really prepping for Drake to come in with the Yeat flow. Like it's bound to happen. He's gonna jump on a rage beat. He's gonna try out the flow, and everyone's
Have you seen the TikTok where it's like a guy guzzling a water bottle, and the caption is like Drake all day. Drake after he practices his Yeat flow all day.
I mean, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Drake, as like it or not, he's in touch with like the culture in the underground. He's like Yachty. He knows what's going on, even if he just like doesn't admit it. But so I still think there's way more potential to blow up in the scene. I mean, the number one that was briefly there for like an hour or so, I could see a number one if he keeps dropping like close enough. Like if he drops in like 3 or 4 months, he'll be well remembered enough from the previous. If he waits too long, I think he'll miss the mark. But the way he's progressing now, if he drops something in like 4 to 5 months, people will know, and he'll get even higher.
Yep, I agree. And also, I mean, personally, I love the rage beats and everything, but there's only so much he can do with that. I don't see him sticking with that style for too much longer. And he's also smart enough not to stick with one style for too long to, get stale as well. It's very exciting to see where he goes. I just think he has the potential to be very creative, and I really don't know where he's going to progress, really.
Yeah. I think this is kind of like the start of a new trilogy, much like the 3 albums he dropped last year was. Whereas those 3 albums, as you progressed through each one, you could see that there were like clear stylistic connections, and none of those albums sounded like We, Us, or Hold On, or what have you. So I think this is kind of like the start of a new ascension. And yeah, I mean, he's for all I can tell, he's a good marketer. He's got insane work ethic. So I anticipate it. I don't anticipate the conversation improving, but we'll see. It is always how it starts. Years ago, we were the collective hip hop world. There were many people, dogging Cardi and Uzi and insert artist here until their acceptance. So that's kind of how it works, right?
Yeah, I was mentioning this somewhere else on like a comment where I was like, "This is not," and I'm not calling Yeat like. He's not like Future, Cardi, Uzi,
no,
Chief Keef, but like all these guys had at the start, all those guys were told by the hip hop community that like this shit sucks. Like,
yeah,
as soon as they
like clear derision
starting to hit like the waves, people were taken aback immediately. And I'm not saying that it's gonna be like, Chief Keef. I'm not comparing them. I'm just saying that when those kind of artists make it big and people start like listening and they start making, the top 100, like it's just it's just the natural way people are going to react. I don't really care too much. It's like one of those things where I'm listening to it, I like it, and it's really too bad if you can't see why.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that's a really good way to close the episode. Really appreciate both of you guys coming on. We'll definitely have their links in the description. If you guys want to give them a follow, check them out. They're always up to date on everything in the underground. So definitely peep their pages. Seth, Ben, thanks for coming on. We might congregate again sometime in the summer or the fall when the next Yeat album comes out, and maybe he has a top 10 Billboard hit by that point. It can only go up. It's up to him, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
of course.
As always, thank you.
Absolutely. This has been Living Off Borrowed Time. I'm Caleb. Special thanks to Seth and Ben. And our outro music is Stagnated Pace by Can Kick. We will see you guys next week.
It ain't gonna never stop. 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 It ain't gonna never stop.
Time will tell. Time is yet to be conquered by man. But when the time is right, perhaps the greatest revelation of all time will dawn upon us.